everyone, it's Danzy. An extremely strong warning that this review in particular contains a lot of negative opinions regarding this show. If this is something you dislike, I could not be more serious when I say that this video is not for you, and I encourage you to check out my other content instead. With that out of the way, let's dive in. Technically, these scenes probably had the least wrong with them out of everything in this episode, because 1, all of it was plot-related, 2, it had action and consequence, because Cersei smugly showing off her human weapon ended up biting her in the ass, and 3, there's great setup for just how the hell Cersei is going to get out of this, and also good seating for, well, I think most of us have a good guess. The problem comes from them spending too much time dicking around in King's Landing this season, instead of actually focusing on the upcoming trial. The Faith pulling the rug out from underneath Cersei didn't have a quarter of the impact it could've, because little to no importance was placed on it. I'm not at all surprised that some viewers are upset about Clegane Bowl getting shut down, because the writers went so far out of their way to distance the audience from this plot thread's central character that a lot of people just assumed the dramatic emphasis had to be on the fight itself. They should have had Cersei and Qyburn actively put work into reprogramming an unstable zombie Gregor for the upcoming fight, only to have this time and work snatched away for a situation where he's useless. I mean, all of this is really just an example, but they needed something to draw us in, because her quiet confidence of, "oh, I'll be fine," just promoted apathy towards her situation. Okay, the best thing about this entire episode was Tobias Menzies as Edmure. He killed this scene. This might even have been my favorite performance of the entire season. In fact, the scene with him and Jaime was another good and sort of accurate representation of what happened in the books. The trouble isn't the situation itself, but rather the context in which it resides. It doesn't have the same meaning because Jaime here is a 180 from his book counterpart. I don't even think they realized how badly they pointed this fact out by having him quote himself from season 1, because that's exactly who he's regressed back to being. Their use of Brienne here bothered me too. She showed up just to be told no and then left. Also, off that you always kept your oath, Brienne. Last season you deliberately ditched Sansa to go and kill Stannis, only to stumble across her later by complete accident. But anyways, the worst part of all this was Blackfish's characterization. Him essentially killing himself instead of going to help Sansa is so ridiculously out of character for him. Now, I actually didn't mind Arya's stuff with Lady Crane. The sentiment was there, even if the dialogue wasn't. They had me up until she admitted to stabbing countless ex-lovers as well as disfiguring a woman's face, and Arya just sat there like, yes, you seem like a perfectly stable person to be around. Then again, there is evidence for her being delirious from her injuries, because all of a sudden she starts talking about what's west of Westeros. I mean, I guess they're trying to remind us that Arya is still a child with a child's wonderment, but this is just such a weird thing for her to say. The real kicker was her plot armor in the next scene, though. Unless they had a pool boy keeping that canal clean, there is no way her wounds wouldn't be an absolute petri dish full of infection. So before she even jumps out of that first window, we've already suspended our disbelief here. Let alone the fact that she ran several hundred yards, fell out of another window down a flight of stairs, killed someone that she's never been able to beat even when she didn't have injuries, and walked all the way back to the House of Black and White without looking any worse for wear. It felt like they wanted her to get stabbed as a cliffhanger to last week's episode, but didn't actually want to deal with the fallout of it because it would get in the way of their big chase scene. Overall, the wrap-up to this storyline could have been, well, a lot tighter. I really get the feeling that they didn't know how to end it in a climactic way. Oh, what even was any of this? A guy sticks his finger up the ass of some kid. Thank you for this mature and innovative piece, writers. If it's not too much trouble, maybe next time you could adapt the books. The Hound, like Jaime, has completely regressed back to the same character that ran down a kid in season 1. Showcased in not one, but 2 drawn-out and gratuitous scenes of him killing people that may or may not have even been involved in the murders last week. He really couldn't have given a bigger F you to his dead friend's memory than this. After all his time away over the last 2 seasons, it's almost criminal that they didn't do anything to grow his character. HBO, how many times must we do this dance? Like, I really don't know what to say about this without sounding like a broken record. How can they justify dropping hundreds of thousands of dollars an episode on Peter Dinklage just to have him sit there and take up space on screen? We have witnessed the exact same scene 3 times in 8 episodes now, and in all 3 instances it's been a waste of money, time, and effort that could be better spent anywhere else in the story. If they really only want to have 15 more episodes to finish everything, then they cannot keep ignoring the ticking clock over their heads like this. I really do apologize for the negativity, guys. I'm not trying to go out of my way to bum anyone out, but for me this was the weakest episode since the season premiere. If you stripped away the filler, you'd be left with only about 15 minutes of stuff that actually contributes to the plot. And not only that, but a lot of this extra padding was boring at best and cringeworthy at worst. All this being said, I am actually really curious to hear your thoughts on this week in particular, so please do leave a comment below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll be back with a much more upbeat video soon. Take care.